It's rolling. We're not going to edit this part out.
I'm too cold, man. I'm too cold.
We're going to keep this part in, so just start whenever you're ready.
This is the Call to Courage weekly post game. I'm Matt Dazzi. I'm here with Gareth Pickering, and we are going to dive in today to this idea of who do you need to be in order to step into the dream that you're calling in. You know, there's this idea of needing to let go of things and call in the version of you. And Gareth and I had a profound conversation yesterday that we're going to unpack a little bit today. But before we get started, Gareth, coming to you from Guatemala, I'm coming to you from Madrid. How are you doing in the land of perpetual spring?
All good, my man. Good to see you back in Madrid, in the city that you spent a lot of time in over the last couple of months. I am back in my studio. Last week I was coming at you from the car. Mint and I just got back together, and feels good to be back at the lake. We've had a beautiful week together. You know, we're building this little mountain cabin in the mountains outside of Antigua, and we've been in a good flow of, yeah, co-creating that and making decisions and making, yeah, I think it's like appointing service providers to help us manage the Airbnb and putting the final touches on it. And so it's felt like a really sweet co-creation to build together. And it's definitely, I've noticed it's taken our relationship to a new level. We're like almost 5 years together now. And this has been, yeah, like a little project that we've worked together. We're both in it 50-50. And I think I've shared before. It's brought up all of our money stories and our attachments to what it is that we like and recognizing that we have slightly different tastes and ideas, but we've rolled with it so well, and I'm feeling super grateful for where we are with our little project called Lucid Dream.
Well, I can't wait to spend the night there. And I'm hopefully going to get there sometime next year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I watch you guys going through that. And like Aitana and I were in the camper van for this past week, rolling around, and we've been exploring land up in Asturias, up in northern Spain. And we, like, I see what you guys are doing, finding the land, getting the house built, doing all the things, getting it put up on Airbnb. And I feel like I'm watching you guys doing it. It's like bringing the encouragement. Like I'm riding shotgun with my wife driving on this narrow road up this mountainside, and we're going to a piece of land that we think could be a plot that we're going to buy, and we're getting like this feeling of, man, this is really possible. Like we're really going to do this. And seeing you guys go through all the steps allows me to sort of like tune my vibration to what y'all are going through so that I can feel what it's going to feel like through your experience as you share it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. What's how's the search for land going up there? We haven't really dropped in about that.
Man, the zoning in Spain it's a thing. Like you can find these amazing pieces of land, but they're zoned in a way that you can't build, you can't use them for commercial property, you can't even have a home on them.
Okay.
And it's been prohibitive, really. Like we've been trying to call in ease and flow, and we're finding ourselves easing into the process. Like we're meeting the right people and we're seeing some spots. We haven't found the spot yet, and it still feels great. Like we know that the region that we were in just now, Asturias, is our spot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels super good.
And the dream is piece of land big enough to grow stuff or big enough for a house? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we definitely want to grow roots. Like we spend at least 6 months out of the year nomadic, but when we're not nomadic, we crave that feeling of going home to the spot that you love, that we love, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
have it right now. Like our most comfortable piece of home is really the camper van. We spend so much time in there, and we've got like our secret spots that we go to, and um, we broke down at one this weekend, bro. We were stranded on the side of the road. A piece fell out of the bottom of Millie, our camper van, and I ended up having to do a conference call with one of my clients on the side of the road while the tow truck was towing away the vehicle because I couldn't shift around the time. It was great. It was brilliant.
You guys are amazing, man. Like, yeah, there's a part of me that feels really uncomfortable thinking about living life on the road and running a business and having a 2 year old while not having a base. Like, I sometimes feel unsettled just moving myself around. The idea of being in a camper with my wife and a 2 year old and running my business, it
Yeah,
takes another
baby.
level of skill, you guys.
Yeah, yeah. We get better every iteration. It's all about the post game.
Yeah,
All right.
all about
Hey,
the post game.
let's dive into our stuff. Housekeeping, real quick. It's Black Friday week. We've got an
And
offer that we're going to be dropping this Friday. You want to share a little bit about it?
What I want to share is more around Black Friday. And I think Black Friday brings up all my materialism stuff, like this idea that Black Friday and Cyber Monday just feels like another opportunity for retail to sell us more flat screens. And I'm like, fucking no more flat screens, no more stuff. We don't need another set of AirPods because they're at a discount. And I mean, I've seen some of those videos of people genuinely having arguments inside a retail store about getting discounts of particular products. And it brings up all my stuff around materialism, where we've made stuff God. And you and I have journeyed deep on just how much of a thing that was for me in the past, filled my world up with stuff, hoping that I would feel better. Then becoming completely minimalism, like a minimalist, living my life that way and feeling happy, and then somehow thinking that my happiness was based on minimalism or unhappiness was based on having stuff. And so as I've now put down roots and bought a car and a motorbike and a few things that I'm enjoying in my life here, I definitely do feel this place of going back to the West where it's like, fuck, the minimalism thing is still very much alive for me. So yeah, we've put together an offer that is a Black Friday deal, which is good value. And yeah, we feel like really helps to uplift and move those that want to journey with us into a new space. And it's not based in materialism, it's based in community connection and really evolution, because that's what it is that we're building inside the tribe.
One thing about Black Friday that's great is that it's timed at a time of the year when this year's beginning to wind down. You're starting to think about what is going to take place for you next year, and like that's what it represents for me, is this opportunity for us to bring more men into our community so that they can start doing the work and have an awesome 2024 and start getting set up for a successful next year. So we're not telling you what the offer is right now. We've figured it out ourselves, but we're putting in the details to actually offer it. And for those of you who are interested, go to fathersonsbrothers.com/Black Friday, and you can get on the list to be the first to know when we shoot out an email this Friday.
Yeah, and just to say that this offer is really for the opportunity to train with us, and it's for those people that are looking to level up their lives by really reconnecting with themselves and connecting with the transformational technology of what it's like to go through a training program with a group of men alongside you. And yeah, the results that we've seen so far in our first iteration of Tribe have been amazing. And if you feel like joining us, check out the link in the show notes. It would be an honor to see you inside the tribe. And yeah, stoked to be launching a Black Friday deal.
Well, yesterday we had a drop in, Gareth. We're moving on to the next topic here. And you said, Matt, I forget how you framed it. You said something along the lines of, okay, we've got what, 12 men in tribe right now, 10 men in tribe. I forget the number. I should know the number.
We've got 13 men in tribe, 10 are paying.
And you said, imagine when we have 500 in tribe, how does that feel in your body? And you just left it there. And I felt my posture change. Like, it was really impactful what you said and how you delivered it to me, of like, just imagine what it feels like when our numbers are at that scale. And yeah, it really sparked a really great conversation that I want to dive into for a little bit here. You want to expand a little bit more on why you asked that to me and what it dovetails into.
So one of the things that we teach inside the tribe and inside our training, and it's basically a principle that Matt and I have been playing around with around manifestation, is the idea of be, do, have. Meaning that in order to have the things that you want to call into your life, you don't start by going after those. What it really works from is the place of connecting to the identity of being the type of person that does the things that will get a specific result. And so, for example, if you wanted to have a good body, you don't just say, I want to have a six pack and then hope that the results come. You have to start being the type of person that makes the choices to go to gym every single day and eat right, et cetera, et cetera. That's the doing in order to have the six pack. And so Matt and I have been talking on this post game that we create each week about our numbers of what it's like on our journey to get 10,000 men inside a men's circle. And so we were like this be, do, have scenario. And I was thinking, what would it be like when we have 10,000 men in our men's circle? I'm like, we'll probably have 500 men as a paying part of our tribe. And if that was to happen today, what would happen? And some part of me was like screaming, was like, not ready to do this, not ready to do that, because that represented a level of, I would say, pressure on our resources that we don't currently have in place. Meaning, I'm seeing 500 men, meaning probably 20 support requests per day. And when I check in with myself, the part of the manifestation process is to recognize that while I want to have 500 men in tribe, I don't want to be answering support requests, and I definitely don't want to be working 20 times harder. And if there's any part of me that feels like the success that we're calling in is going to take us away from our ease, I'm going to create a huge amount of resistance to get us on that path. And this is really the work of manifestation. Like, I would love to have $1 million in my life. If you're not able to track that $1 million in your life would also represent some part of you that feels like you might be putting your dad in your shadow because you're making more money than him, you can call in $1 million all you like, but some part of you is going to continually block yourself, because this is the decluttering of recognizing that your desires of today become tomorrow's responsibilities. And you've got to be prepared for delivering with impeccability, because that's a thing that we both talk about. How do we deliver 500 men in a powerful service? We need to have our fucking ducks in a row. And there was a part of me that was like, some of those ducks are not quite in a row. And so that was what landed for me. And then I dived into it a little bit deeper. This is the beautiful thing about shadow work, which was like, okay, what else is there that's making me feel uncomfortable? And it's like, I'm starting to see thousands and $10,000 flowing through the bank account. And then I'm feeling like, but hold on a second, I currently don't have my credit card landed with me back here in Guatemala. My second credit card is also not quite sorted yet. I'm borrowing Araminta's credit card and paying her back with crypto. It's it's messy. And there was this part of me that's been here before, and I'm like, you know what? That's not a 500 men in our tribe way to run a business. That's fucking schoolboy. That needs to be sorted out in order for us to show up. And so, yeah, I wanted to drop into that. And that was the reason that I asked the question, because it's like being clear about what that is. And I think it landed for you the same way. And I want to hear exactly what the story was that was with you when I said that. But it really is really the recognition of like, okay, beautiful. Know what it is that you want to call into your life. Know why it is that you want it. And then be like, when that's true, what else is true in my reality? And be very honest about that. And I think that's what landed for me yesterday.
Yeah, great. What I'd like to share what landed with me, and it was around like just 3 days before you asked me that question. Itana brought up with me that I've been looking at my phone a lot more than I usually do, and my story is that we've got this tribe popping off now. We've got the WhatsApp group with men sharing and showing up, and great conversations taking place. We've got the Slack in the tribe, and other great conversations taking place there, and I'm looking at my phone not just to show up for those men who are showing up in this group format in these forums, but I'm enjoying it. Like,
Uh-huh.
I've usually rejected social media and rejected being sort of a slave to my phone, and yeah, that's I see that's where I'm realizing that we need to bring in other men who want to do this work with us. And you and I've been calling in sort of um, that that guy who can help us on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, being a part of these
Mm-hmm.
circles, being in our tribe, helping engage with the community, making sure that the men who are sharing their voice in our space is in a properly held container, I guess
Mm-hmm.
is the way to put it. And so, yeah, it really lit a fire under the urgency of us needing those things and needing those things now.
Right. Yeah. And that's something that we're calling in. We're looking for an assistant to support us in this space. And so if you're listening to this and you want to support us helping integrate men, hold space inside the tribe, we need help inside our King Circle. We need help inside the conference, which we're going to talk about in a sec. But I feel that as well. And I want to share something as well, which came up in something that we call a mandate. So inside the tribe, once a month, men that are inside the tribe get the opportunity to connect with another man randomly across the planet, set up an opportunity to drop in and have a call. And the call can be about anything, but the theme that we used this month was around technology and our relationship with technology, because that was alive for Matt and I. And we're like, this would be a great theme for the mandate. And something that came up for me and the person that I was in this mandate with was a strong recognition that when we were consuming social media only, there was this sense of feeling flat or it being heavy or some type of a burden. But when we were using social media to engage and put our voices out into the world, it always felt very different. And the difference between those two was true for both of us. It's like when I'm in the world and I'm just feeling shitty and I'm using social media as a way to distract myself and I'm just avoiding being with my reality or whatever it is, social media can feel like a real drain. But it feels like a really powerful tool when we're engaging, putting our message out into the world, sharing with the group, and just being with the men that are inside our community. And I feel the same thing as well, which is, yeah, I love the fact that we've got communication and conversations happening inside our fathers, sons, brothers WhatsApp group, and the circle popping off, and this conference popping off, and the podcast being so well received. And so, yeah, stoked to be expanding on that while also maintaining the right relationship with the technology and not taking ourselves out of the present moment. I know for you as a dad, that's super important, but it's true for me as well. I want to be with people, and when my phone is not near me, yeah, I want to be present for the people that are around me, and then consciously engage with technology to chat on the group, release something, engage on social media, message, etc.
Yeah, definitely. Your mandate conversation, the topics y'all got into, it reminds me of like when I would go to a party and not want to dance, and I would see
Mm-hmm.
everyone dancing, having so much fun. But because I'm sitting on the sideline nursing my beer, I'm not having the fun. I'm in envy, and I end up leaving the party early. It feels like that the way you were describing it. I love it.
Well, and the only reason you didn't do a mandate this month was because we had odd numbers and I decided to be
Yeah,
in. So, yeah, next month you'll probably be in for sure.
yeah, I'll definitely be in.
Let's jam about our amazing conversation that we had with brother Frank Mondoze on the podcast this week. Frank came on the Call to Courage and we had a super rad chat about self responsibility, about men's work, about yeah, showing up and what it means to be in your power. And what flowed from that was a really sweet opportunity to create something inside the King's Circle, the WhatsApp group that we've got, which is going to be a leadership conference. Give us a high level of our thinking there. It's a model that we've played with before, but something that we're going to be launching this week.
Yeah, well, we ended up doing this format a couple years back where we have men inside a community, inside a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, and we bring in a subject matter expert, someone we call a level up partner, or someone who has a gift that they or a message that they want to share with our group. And the beauty of WhatsApp is that you can flick on an audio note and flow with an audio while you're engaging in life. Like it's not as complex as sitting down and doing a podcast episode and making sure the lighting's right and all the things that go with creating a production are minimized in just sending and flowing with audio notes. And so the format that we're doing for this conference is bringing in Frank to flow with these ideas around leadership and the gifts that he's sharing with the world in a free flow audio conversation inside that WhatsApp group that's guided by us. And yeah, him showing up and sharing his gifts over the next few days.
So there's another piece to that as well. So the creative process is super fun. So Matt and I get to ask questions. Frank gets to reply with videos and audio notes as he's going through his life over the next 7 days. But the other fun part is that for those that are participating as part of the WhatsApp group, you can drop into there whenever you feel like dropping in on the conversation. So you might not be engaged in the WhatsApp group, and we actually suggest turning our group onto mute and committing to diving in there for a couple of minutes, maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and just seeing what's alive for you there. So you can actually consume the conference and see what's being shared around the topic of leadership. If you've got something that you actually want to perhaps have a question about or ask Frank directly, you can respond directly in there, and Frank will be answering questions directly in the WhatsApp group. And it's really to support the amazing podcast conversation that we had. And we've just launched it and it's had really, really good reviews and downloads so far. So it's a really sweet opportunity to have our podcast guests really one-on-one with our community and be able to ask questions directly about the stuff that was alive on the podcast and specifically around leadership in the conference that's kicking off this Wednesday. It will run, Matt, have you got those dates there?
I actually don't have them in front of me, but it'll probably run through the holiday weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, so it starts on the 23rd until the 29th of November. So this Thanksgiving weekend, instead of sitting on Facebook when you are taking a break from the family, You can be part of the Father, Sons, Brothers WhatsApp group and jump into the leadership conference and listen in on the conversation between myself, Matt, and Frank about leveling up your leadership in love, life, and business.
And of course, after you've had your turkey and done the holiday thing on Sunday, we are having our King's Circle. It's going to be our 18th gathering. Our current count on the road to 10,000 is up to 177. And Gareth, I think we're going to break 200 this weekend. What do you think?
We are committed but not attached. That's the process of manifestation, of being clear on where you want to go but not attached to any outcome. And yeah, we've also recognized this in our own journey in the past where we've had like small circles and been disappointed. And all of that is preventing us from getting where we want to go. So yeah, we've had amazing response from the men that were in the previous circle where Brian was sharing about self-care. This week, Matt's going to share an amazing process that he's installed in my world where you can use an app that you have on your phone already to distill your ideas from jumbled thoughts in your head into a process that you can actually do something with. And super simple process, super easy to install, and something that you can use to take your ideas and turn them into reality and or bin them if they're not good thoughts. But the self-stream idea that you taught me has been powerful, and I'm really supercharged that you get to share this in the circle on Sunday, brother.
Yeah, I'm amped about it. I was thinking about how to explain what it is, and I was called back to that Elizabeth Gilbert TED Talk where she talks about the elusiveness of creative genius. How
Mm.
she's up on I think it was Elizabeth Gilbert. She's up on this hill in a cornfield and she feels the idea coming towards her and she looks over her shoulder and she can almost see it like coming down on her like this like wind blowing all the corn as it's like raging towards her. And she runs the other direction towards the house to get a pencil because that was a creative idea that was coming to her. And if she wasn't ready to receive it in that moment, it would pass through her and go to somebody else. And that's what self-stream is all about, is capturing those aha moments that you have about your business, about your life, about your relationships, and being able to flick on an audio note, send yourself an audio recording, and have it in a structured system that you can use it, whether it's to create social media content, find better messaging around your business, find the communication strategies or the message that you want to deliver in your relationship. And yeah, it's a powerful tool. I love it. I use it every day. And I'll be teaching it live on the King's Circle this Sunday.
I'm so glad you reminded me about that Elizabeth Gilbert TED Talk. I really loved it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but we'll put a link to that in the show notes. If you haven't seen it, it's 20 minutes, well worth watching, that talks about the dynamic nature of creativity as a thought form rather than some static thing that you think you get. And she tells this really beautiful story as well about a novel that she was writing and didn't finish, and how that actually came to be. So we'll include a link to that in the show notes, as well as a link to register for the King Circle and a link to be able to join us inside the Fathers, Sons, Brothers WhatsApp group to get access to Frank and the leadership conference that is kicking off on Wednesday. I think that's it, bro. Is that a wrap?
I'm looking at the Trello card. All the boxes are checked.
That means it's a wrap.
That's all
So
we got.
we will see you in the WhatsApp group. We will see you back here for another post game next week. But hopefully, if you want to hang out with us at the King Circle this Sunday, it's always the final Sunday of the month. And we're looking forward to seeing as many new faces there as possible. And thank you to all the brothers that are part of this community that continue to show up month after month for the circle. It's such an honor to be in that sacred space with all of you. And Matt, it's such a fucking joy doing this creative little backwards and forwards that we do once a week. I'm really enjoying it.
I think we're getting better at it too, bro.
Yeah, only 2 takes today.
All right,
Till
guys.
next week, everybody. Much love.